Hello Stampers, this is Melissa Johnson, an independent consultant slash maker with Close to My Heart, and you are stamping with MJ. I'm here today to show you a new technique using vellum and our tri-blend markers and some alcohol. I had previously filmed a video showing you how to make backgrounds with the tri-blend markers by just kind of scribbling them on and dabbing some of the alcohol on. This time we're going to step it up a notch and we're going to use an embossing folder. So I am using the Spring Blossoms embossing folder and some vellum, and so you can see I've already embossed it, and this is what we're going to be doing. Isn't that gorgeous? So I have used the tri-blend markers, rubbing alcohol, a couple of our shimmer brushes, and it's just a gorgeous background, and you don't have to do much else to your card except put a sentiment on it. So I love things like that. Looks like he did a lot of work and has a lot of impact for not much work. All right, so let's start. I am just going to use the darkest shade of this purple, and I'm going to color these petals. I'm not being very neat because you're going to move the ink around with your alcohol. The only thing I'm doing is I am making sure that I stay in the petal. I don't want to go into the background. And one other thing I'm going to show you, just so your colors don't mix together, we're going to do the front side of this vellum with our floral colors, and then we're going to do the back side with blues to make the background. I'm hoping I'm still on camera here. Yeah. So I'm just coloring everything in. Sorry, I should have colored part of this before I got on here, but I wanted to show you the process because it is very simple. Not a lot of work for a big impact, I think. All right, so I'm just coloring all these in. Now I don't want to do my leaves, and I am making sure that I do different colors on some of the flowers so that, because they do look a little different. I apologize for the shenanigans going on in the background. My dog is chasing my cat right now. All right, so we have, I'm just going to turn this to make it easier to get to. And it's okay if your coloring dries because we're going to reactivate it with the alcohol. Okay, we're almost done with the purple. And again, you can see I'm not being extremely careful to fill everything in because the ink will move around. All right, so that's the purple. I am going to do the darkest shade of our gold yellow blend in the center. Now this one I am going into the background a little bit because centers fill up more of the flowers, so I feel like you have to do that a little bit. And again, just putting the color down. Not real worried because it is going to start bleeding and blending just a little bit when we start spraying it with the alcohol. All right, so I think I'm going to do this flower yellow, and then looks like there's another one here and one here. Hopefully you guys are surviving this heat. Now I'm using the orange blend, and I'm actually going to use the mid-tone on this one because I don't want it real dark. And I think these kind of look like a chrysanthemum to me, or a dahlia. So I kind of like to do that orangey color on there. I apologize if I'm not in the camera. Okay, so I'm just coloring that in. And I think we'll do this flower orange. And then we have one more. Here's another little flower. Sorry, I have some glare from my light, so I can't really see what I'm doing too well, but you'll get the idea. Just filling in all the little pieces in here. There's a lot of them for this one. And it's okay if you get out of it a little bit, because it's going to move around a little bit with the alcohol. All right, then I'm going to take Alpine Green, and I think I'm going to use the mid shade on this one too, because it's a little bit brighter. You want to make sure you get your stems. Whoops, I really went out of it on that one. But that's okay, it's going to kind of look like a watercolor effect. Let's see how I'm making sure I get my stems. Otherwise it looks kind of odd, like it's floating there. Okay. So I saw this on a video last night, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to try it. I highly recommend searching out new techniques on YouTube. Can't see that one. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, it looks like I missed a flower there. Let's go back and get that. If you're wondering what I'm using underneath, I'm using our Teflon sheet that I have cut into fourths. It's usually like 15 by 18. And that's just a lot of sheet to deal with. So for me, this is easier for storage and just for using it for smaller projects. All right, did I get all of the leaves? Looks like there might be one here. And then so another flower here. And I think I'm going to add a little more yellow to these little pieces here. And I'm doing the whole thing, because otherwise it looks a little strange, like it's just kind of out there doing nothing. All right, so now we have our color down, and I'm going to take just a little mini spritzer, and it's filled with 91% rubbing alcohol. It has to be 91% or higher. And I'm just going to give it a spritz. And see how that's kind of moving that around a little bit? You start to see the little bubbles and stuff. And I have a cheap water brush. I didn't want to use one of my good ones, so this is just a cheapy one that I found somewhere. And I might not even need to do it too much, but you're just going to go through and kind of tap the alcohol into areas that you want to move. You do want to make sure you clean your brush off in between. So usually what I try to do is I do all of the orange. Then I go through and I do all of the yellow, so I am wiping it on a paper towel as I go. All right, now I'm going to do some of this yellow because I want it to kind of bleed into the flower. So it does make it look kind of watercolory without having to do all of the work, because I do not know how to watercolor. I don't know about you guys, but that is not something I'm good at. All right, now I'm going over the leaves. So you do want them to bleed a little bit. Okay. And now we just have the purple to do. Now the video I watched, she used a straw and kind of blew the ink around. But I've done alcohol ink in the past, so I have a blower tool that I use. And that's what I'm going to use in this. But a straw would work. And that's just to kind of move the ink around a little bit. And so this is what I'm using. Just a bubble blower. And it's also going to help dry this, because we do want to make sure this is dry before we do the next step. Look at how pretty that is, though. So it's saying within the embossed images, but it's looking more watercolory. And also like the traditional alcohol ink. Okay, I am going to wipe my mat down here. Alright, so the next step is to take a clear shimmer brush. So I'm taking a clear shimmer brush and a bone folder, and I am just going to flick some of that shine on there. Hopefully that's picking up on the camera and you can see it. So first I used clear, and then I'm going to use espresso, because I just want a little bit. So I'm not tapping as hard here, although I'm not seeing anything coming off, so I guess I gotta get that started a little bit. Get some of that ink out of there. There we go. There we go. So just to get a couple of dark spots on there. You do want to make sure you have something on your surface for this, because you're going to have color flying everywhere. All right. So now I'm also going to take my water brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of alcohol, and I'm just going to flick some on there to get some bigger blotches in my flowers. Can you see that? Okay, and then I'm going to dry that real quick. Oop, probably shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. We'll just blot that a little. Still get a good effect. That's what sentiments are for, right? We can cover up our little mistakes here and there. Okay, so now this side is done. Isn't that gorgeous? But wait, there's more. We're going to take ice blue and true blue. So I'm going to use the darkest shade of the ice blue, and I'm just scribbling on the back. And this is going to show through to the front, but we're also going to put alcohol in here. Okay, so again, I'm just kind of scribbling in different places with the ice blue. I don't know if you can hear my daughter's cat meowing. Alright, and then I'm going to take the mid-tone of True Blue. I tried this last night, and the darkest shade, a little too dark for my taste. So we're just going to scribble that on there. And you want to get all of the background filled in, because that does show through to the front. Okay. Mainly the open areas. Don't worry so much about the other areas. Okay, so now I have some color down. So now I'm just going to do the same thing. Taking the mini mister, a couple of spritzes, and then I am going to take the brush and just get some bigger drops here and there. And I'm going to use the blower to kind of move it around, dry it. Again, a straw would work, or you could just let it air dry, but I'm impatient. I've also done the straw method. Sometimes you feel like you're gonna pass out when you're done. All right, so now I'm gonna put this on a piece of white just so you can see what it looks like. Look at how gorgeous that is. Do you see the blue shining through the... I'll turn it this way so you can see it a little better. But isn't that beautiful? So a new way to do an alcohol ink blended background using your tri-blend markers, incorporating embossing folders and vellum, and it's just a lot of impact for not much work. Hope you enjoyed this video and that you'll give it a try. Have a great day.